Hello humans! Today we're going to talk about how to draw ellipses. And many objects have circular components, just like our illy tin here, which has a completely circular lid. And it is a cylinder. Even though the way that it appears here is slightly, the perspective's a bit strange, but I'm trying to draw and show you how to sight on slightly different angles. So you have to just ignore that, but let's start off with by just observing our cylindrical object, and I'm going to decide that I want it to be from here to here on the page. And in the same way, similar to the way that if you've seen the sighting demonstration, we're going to do that all over again with this, but then we're going to work out how to make the ellipses. So let's draw a central line. Oops, I'm hitting off the page there. Okay, so that's our central line. Now let's think about what do we want as our main measure to find our height and width of this object. Again, arm directly straight out, pencil goes to the very tip of the can. I'm thinking that to this red line is a really good measurement to see how many of those go into the full width, the full height of the can. So arm fully extended, don't move forward, don't move back. Let's just look. That looks like 1, 2, 2, three, and maybe a half. Okay, so 3.5. So let's okay, we're going to work around that because it's easier to break this into 3 than 3.5. So let's cut that into 3. And then we're going to pick a half and extend our base. Okay, so we're being a bit naughty, but I think it's okay. All right, so this is now our translated measurement. We have translated this measurement here from the top of the can that we can see to the red line, and we've translated it now onto the paper to be this measurement. So this is now our unit of measurement for this particular can. Okay, so I am going to mark that out somewhere else so I can just refer to it again and again. Okay. I'm not sure if you can see that because I can't see that part of the camera. Okay, anyway, we've basically transferred this measurement here to the page at a larger scale. So we're always trying to find ratios here, and this is what sighting is going to be really useful for. So now we have, this is the point where the red line meets, so we've measured from here all the way to here, and we've established that there are 2.5 to here, so we're going to have our base here. Now, how many times does this measurement, or this measurement rather, go into the width of the can? So I'm going to extend my arm, say 1, and pretty much 2. So we can then look at this measurement here on the page, and we can find our width. So our width is about here. All right. Top, and top goes to there. Okay. So now we've pretty much got some fairly good proportions for this little coffee can. Now we can start thinking about the ellipse. So let's see. Let's see how many of. Let's just measure the top part of the can of what we see. So that goes into. So it's like 1 and 2. So we're taking a second measurement, but we're working out that basically if this is the whole of that top part, we can divide it into 2, and that this then becomes this part of the ellipse in the front there. So we have a rectangle here for the top, and we have our edges here. We can also halve that again and just draw a rectangle, draw a cross line. And where those lines cross here is where the edges of that ellipse are going to meet. So what we can do at this point is to create diagonal lines lightly, just to give us an idea about this top section. But from there, what we can actually do is curve them out. And I'm finding it a little difficult to actually draw looking through this ring light, but we have to get those edges rounded out. Okay, so let's think about there is a slight couple of different lines going on the rim of the top of this cap, which is a really good moment because basically what we look at, especially if it's say a cup or something hollow, is that this part of the rim is going to appear a lot this part of the rim is going to appear very much thinner than this part, and these parts will appear a lot wider. So we always have to think that there's going to be much more width here, and somewhere about halfway between those, that width will be in the front. And in this instance, we actually can't see the back. So the rim is actually starting from about here, which makes it a little bit more tricky for us. But we can think about it in that these parts are much wider. Pencil's getting a little... And we can either eyeball it from here, or you can measure it out again. But you'll find that you see more of these side parts than you do of the front. And when people are first learning to draw ellipses, they tend to either do something like that, and this is a pinched edge, which we don't want, or they do something a little bit crazy like that, or a pear-shaped one, or but we know that this is a very symmetrical object, so we need to really just think about it as you know, in the correct way. Freehanding it is a little bit tricky in this instance. Okay, so we can drop our line down to here, and we know that this is where the front part of this circle comes to. So let's look at this, because that circle is not going to come all the way down to here. It's going to be somewhere up here. So we need to see how to work this out. Like, how are we going to work this part out? Let's say this is the front part. It must be the same measurement all the way around. So we can actually measure here and make our marks on the paper for how wide this would be. Okay, and then we do the same thing. Basically, you can start off with a straighter line, diagonal, just cut through like an organizational line so you can see what you're doing, and then you can start curving it to meet those other lines. Okay, and so then we really need to look at the base as well, because there's something going on there, and it's kind of good to put your pencil right on the base and to think about these triangle shapes here. I can't see if I've got the base there or not, but you can understand that there's triangle negative space there. So let's think about that, because you're going to find that the base is a lot more a stronger ellipse than it is at the top, just because it's slightly further away from us. Okay. How are we going to work that out? So we need to try and see how much it actually increases in size, or how much that triangle, what kind of angle is that triangle at? I'm going to get another pen to think about this angle here. Now, I would think about it in terms of like the arms of a clock. We might say that's 12, that's 1, and that might be 2. And we could draw 12, 1, 12. Let's see, 1. And where would 2 be? 2 would be here. So we could draw that 2 o'clock kind of line here, and that might give us where those crossover points are, and from there we can make our circular shape for that base and extend out past your, let's just try and get it right. Okay. So this is all the negative space that we were looking at. And you can start to just give yourself a little bit of start to understand your drawing a little more when you just darken out those areas. So I'm drawing around a camera right now, so it's kind of tricky, but that should give you the initial starting point for how to how to draw a cylinder and how to draw an ellipse on the top. So let's hope that this is in some way helpful. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.